Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live with THiNC Institute of Design. We are going to have the question paper analysis of JEE B.Arch. And for that, I have with me our faculty. But before we delve deeper into the question paper analysis of JEE B.Arch, we'll talk about how exactly the exam was for a couple of more our students. So they have also joined with us in this particular live. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome both of them, Hansh and Archana. Hello, both of you.
Hi, sir.
Hi, sir.
Okay. I think both of them has had wonderful exams yesterday. They have had some wonderful sessions. They'll have some interesting experiences to share. We'll start one by one. In the meanwhile, everyone who has joined in the live chat box, please let us know how your exams also went. And the host, if you could put up some poll, we could also get an idea from the viewers on how exactly the exam went for them. Okay. So Hansh and Archana, I would start with the most boring question that you have heard in the last 12 hours. How was the exam? I'll start with Hansh.
Compared to last year, it was definitely a bit on the harder side, especially the aptitude. But maths, I think compared to all these years, I think the maths was the most easiest so far. I should have studied a bit more and prepared a bit more for maths, so I didn't get to do as much questions I wanted to. But in general, it was fine. Aptitude was the more confusing part.
Okay, interesting. I really liked your take on Max very interestingly. Okay, let me come to Archana. Archana, how was it for you? Overall, how was the paper?
Yeah, the paper was okay. Aptitude part, when it comes to the projection and mirror questions, it was very easy, I guess. But arc awareness and all, it was a long shot. The question came from bits and corners. It was quite a moderate question. And max
Okay.
part was pretty easy. I've seen the questions before. I've seen it for the model exams that was conducted in THiNC, and but I didn't study, of course. So it was okay.
I think this JEE B.Arch paper is a reminder to all those architecture aspirants about their hatred towards Max. They should love mathematics a little bit more and give it a little bit more care. Okay. To everyone who is watching, please let us know how your exams also went in the live chat box, how the Max section and all went. Yes, Hans. So, how was the Max part?
I attempted 3 questions. That was the maximum I could attempt. I started like did like 12 or 13 questions, but I wasn't comfortable with those. Like the answers were there, but I wasn't sure the answers were correct. But there were 3 questions which I was confident about, so I attempted those.
Okay, what was your strategy? Like, did you start with Max as such, or did you have any particular, order and all for this?
No, as soon as the exam started, I straight away went to the drawing question and I checked how the drawing question was, and I calculated my time on how I could, do my paper. I saw the drawing questions and it was really easy actually. It was a question which I'm familiar with, which we have been practicing in classes a lot, so I was pretty happy about it. Then I straight away went to do the aptitude so I could reach the drawing faster. After the drawing was finished, I was like, okay, let's do math. And I did 3 questions. So yeah.
Okay, I am really curious to know. So you went to the drawing paper, but you did not start with the drawing questions, right? You went to the drawing
Yes.
paper, you saw it, you felt a bit happy, you came back and you did the other topic. So, what is the logic behind it? If you could, openly share your strategy.
So last year, I wrote the session 2 for JEE. It was much easier, the aptitude part, but I didn't see the drawing question first. I was in the crash actually last year. So I
Okay.
knew how the questions were going to be. So when I saw a question, it was a rendering sketch of Qutub Minar. After I finished that, I felt a bit panicky because there was only 30 minutes left. And so
Hmm.
I read the question. It was to make a sculpture out of that we find in basic shapes of sports equipment. I just saw basic shapes of sports equipment, and I automatically thought, okay, let's do a black and white composition. And the question asked was, do a sculpture in color. So I panicked a lot and I did a composition instead. And so I didn't want that same mistake to happen. So I went straight to the drawing question, read it properly, and then I started doing the aptitude.
Okay, I think to everyone who is watching, it's one of the most important lessons that you can learn from your own mistakes. I think this year I was discussing with some of the students, they were also saying some of them missed the friends' perspective when they were drawing the UCEED questions. So it's a very, very important point. You miss one keyword in that drawing question and the whole ball game changes. Like even if you draw it in the best possible way with absolute perfection and interesting ideas, the whole ball game changes, right? It's a very good point that Hansh is making. Okay, coming to Archana. Archana, how was your strategy?
Yeah. First, I clicked on all the parts of the exams. Like first it was definitely maths and then aptitude and drawing. And I came back to aptitude because I was pretty sure I could answer most of the questions in that. And I answered that. After that, I went for the first question of drawing, which was a rendering question. And I did that. And I went back to maths and I saw the questions. I was able to do that up to a point, and I couldn't get the balance, and also the equations I couldn't recall them. So I stopped it there. I think I did one or two questions and I stopped. Then I went back to drawing, did the second question. There were two questions and I did the sculpture thing. And then when I looked at the time, there was like 50 or 40 minutes, I guess. Then I came back to max again, and the rest of the time I was doing that.
Okay. So, from what I understand, you tried aptitude because you were sort of confident that it'll fetch you more confidence and you can go to the tougher sections, right?
Yeah, and also like taking the time, aptitude will go very fast. It's just the question and you answer. It's not very time consuming.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
went for it and it was over like within 40 minutes or 50 minutes, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Coming to the aptitude part, Archana, how was the aptitude section, the non-verbal, arc awareness, and all?
Yeah, non-verbal were very easy for me. It was projection and mirror images, and it was quite easy. And coming to arc awareness, as I said earlier, it was like coming from a long point. Not we have studied lots of important architects and their works, etc. But the questions were from like people we haven't heard before, like that.
Oh,
So
okay. They specifically chose the unimportant ones or the
yeah,
ones that are less heard. Okay.
also monuments. We have there were so many questions that we haven't heard before. The monuments and all.
Okay. Okay. Coming to Hunch, how was your aptitude part?
Just like Archana said, the arc awareness definitely was harder compared to last year. There were a lot of architects that there was one question about Tassel's house, which is like an Art Nouveau building which we never ever have heard about. There were all of these master following questions with buildings which we were never familiar with, but still we were able to attend because we knew some of those, like we could guess where it was. Arcanas was definitely much harder than last year, but still I felt it was pretty fine. Non-verbal was really easy. It was the same sort of
Okay.
non-verbal we expect for normal JE, and it was pretty easy.
Okay. Okay. We'll also have our faculty joining shortly, so he will take us through the kind of questions and what were the different strategies that the students could have approached. Okay. So, having said that, when I talk about the drawing part, so how did the drawing part go in general for you, Hansh? And could you utilize the time? Had you applied for B plan also? Could you utilize the time from there?
Uh, I was able to utilize the time that I had for week planning. I kind of messed up the first question, which was this guy rolling a rickshaw. I messed up the proportions a little bit, so I had to start from the beginning, and so I wasted like 20 minutes there. But since I applied for B planning, I had extra time, so I was able to finish rendering and sculpture both. But after finishing those, I had like 10, 15 minutes. So I actually did a few questions from B planning also. It was pretty fine.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, just before I move to Archana regarding drawing, there is somebody who's asking how I am. I am so happy to hear that. Lala, I am very, I'm very good and I'm very fine. Thank you that you're very much concerned. How did your exam go? Yes, Archana, how was your drawing part?
Yeah, drawing part was kind of easy, but not that easy. I think I did the rendering pretty well. And the second question was one was a scene drawing, another was a sculpture. And I'm not good with scene drawings. So I definitely opted for the sculpture one.
Also,
I think
okay.
yeah, time was managed well and I did pretty good in that.
Okay. And before you guys move on, before we move to the question paper sessions, just a couple of more questions. So, how was the overall arrangement in the examination hall? Like, were things smooth? We will start with Hunch. How was your exams? Any issues that you faced?
It wasn't smooth actually. The current went like 5 or 6 times consecutively, which obviously brought me a lot of panic. The systems were still running, but the current was going, which obviously gave me a panic. There were a lot of systems which are malfunctioning actually. A lot of kids had to change their seats again and again because apparently the system was becoming black and they couldn't attend the
Oh,
exam.
that's bad.
So they had
Okay.
to change the systems again and again. So
So
I've
this
been
is
seeing this
before the exam started or in between the exam that they had to.
during the exam. It was actually
Oh, that's
happening during the exam.
okay. Okay. And Archana, how was it for you? The overall setup?
Yeah, the piece was pretty good. There was nice spacing arrangements. Invigilators were always there around for us for anything we need. And also, I think
Okay.
there was not so much problem with system and all, but one of my friend had a problem, but it was managed pretty well. So it
Okay.
was good.
Okay, Hansh, I really hope you get a better center in the April session. Okay, assuming that both of you guys are going to write, obviously, the JEE.Arch April session, two most important key takeaways. Hansh, you will have more than two to say, so I'll come to you later on. I'll go to Archana first. So, two most important takeaways, Archana.
So definitely I have to study max, keep practicing it, and I guess I can take the time like before I should control time as I did earlier.
Are you happy with the kind of strategy that you took? You started with aptitude. Is that the same that you will be following? Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, yeah. Last time also I did the same thing and
Okay.
my time was perfect. I completed in with the whole time. I wasn't sitting around or I didn't get time there. That was not a problem there. So I think I'll
Okay.
do the same for next exam.
That's great. Okay. Guys, also, at times NTA makes it a bit more easier. Max becomes easier and you don't know what to do. So prepare your max part also, guys. Okay. Hunch, yes, I'll give you 2+1. One extra point that you can. Chalo.
Definitely to study math properly. That was my key take from this exam, is that I didn't prepare for math.
Okay.
Second is to expect I have to improve on my drawing. Drawing was fine for this exam, but I can't
Okay.
assure the same for the next session. It's always a
Okay.
50-50 chance it's going to be easier tough. So I'm definitely going to work hard on my drawing skills a bit more, and also to also to like go out of the book and like learn about more architects and buildings which I'm not familiar with. That's my main key point in this exam.
Okay. That's great. So drawing skills, work on architecture awareness, mathematics, and follow the same strategy. Okay, that's great. So I think because everyone is talking about max, I think the max questions were direct also, right? They were completely probably based on the formulae. You get the formulae, you get the answer sort of questions, right? Okay, that's quite interesting of a change that has come from NTA. Very interesting to note because Council of Architecture has also changed the format of NATA exam. They have introduced drawing part to it. So there is a lot more importance in terms of the architectural perspectives that they are coming up with. So quite interesting. Okay. So to both of you, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining in. I hope there will be one more session in April with you guys, wherein you will also talk about how the April session went and how easy it was. And then we'll have a session in June where you will talk about the colleges that you're getting into. Okay. So thank you. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll now move on to the question paper analysis. So the PPT of the question paper being shared, we have Febin sir who was joined. We have some comments in the chat box, which is okay, exclusively for Archana. Okay, Purnus is asking how was the exam? Yes. So we'll start with how exactly the paper went for a lot of students. So we can go to the next slide. So we had asked a lot of students on how exactly the paper went for them. So most of them, we had conducted a poll. We had conducted a poll in most of our social media platforms. We had talked to some of the students also. So most of them were of the view that it was sort of, moderate, sort of easy. That is how most of them felt. A lot of students were comparing it with 2023. They felt, those have written both, they felt that it was comparatively easier compared to 2023. But the number is very less. Actually, it's only 60% who feel that the answer was, the question paper was easy. Now, it's only time that can actually define and say whether the exam was easier or not. We'll have to wait for the results to come. The opinion, when I ask the opinion of the students, everyone had the same opinion about maths. Okay, so I think it is something that's very that has come sort of different this time. That every time usually it is maths that gives architecture students the nightmare, right? So this year it has been a bit different. There were a few unexpected questions from the general knowledge architecture part. Non-verbal was very, very easy, and drawing questions were as expected and all. Okay, and some of the students said that there were time management issues. Those who were smart, they had applied for B plan also and used the time. Okay, so that's it. Now we'll go into the questions, and for that we have Febin sir who has joined. Febin sir, you can take it forward from here, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we have some questions that we have collected from our students. And before going into the questions in detail, I welcome all you to the live chat box, because you have to respond and react to my questions so we can easily discuss these questions. You can tell your points and okay. So these questions are not in order, like these are the questions that we have collected from our students. So first we have who is the architect of Sydney Opera House, which was comparatively an easy question, because like you all might know who is the architect of Sydney Opera House, which is a famous monument in the world. It is situated in Sydney in Australia. So I have given the picture of that architect. Can you all just guess who this architect is? It was an easy question. Like I think you all might know who is the architect of Sydney Opera House. Can you all just comment it in the live chat box? Who is this architect? Yes, it is John Woodson. It's a famous architect. So John Woodson was the answer, the architect of Sydney Opera House. So that was an easy one. Like I'm not discussing more about that particular topic. So we have questions like pictures will be given, and then you have to identify who designed that particular building. And sometimes they'll give just the name like this, like who's the architect of Sydney Opera House. Then you have to identify which architect designed that particular building. So generally in this particular topic, like architects and their works, like we can expect some major architects, major monuments, but this time they have asked some unimportant architects, not so familiar architects and buildings. So we'll look into other questions we can discuss later. Then secondly, we have material used for cladding in Lotus Temple. So this was kind of a different question, but it was not that tough and all, because like probably students have learned a lot about Lotus Temple. Like last time we had that question, like to identify the architect of Lotus Temple, like which is Faribault Zaba. Then location of Lotus Temple, like it belongs to which religion? Like Lotus Temple is a Baha'i temple. And we all know that Lotus Temple is a concrete structure. It is a shell structure. It is a concrete shell structure. But they have asked the cladding material that is used to clad the facade of Lotus Temple. Can you just comment the answer? Which answer did you all opt? Cladding material. I have given a picture of a zoomed in picture of a Lotus Temple. So you can see the material. Which is that? Yes, it is marble. It is a white marble particularly. So they have used marble for cladding in Lotus Temple. Okay, so just know that it's not completely a marble structure. It is a concrete structure. They have used cladding. They have used marble cladding for the facades. Okay. Then we have Elephanta caves worshipping god, like which god they are devoted to in Elephanta caves. So that answer was Lord Shiva. I think you all know, you are familiar with Elephanta caves, and generally they ask like, for example, Konark Sun Temple devoted to god Sun. Then we have Madurai Temple, Meenakshi Temple devoted to Meenakshi. Then we have other Sikh temples, Baha'i temples, Jain temples. Like in Ellora and Ajanta caves, you have like a combination of three religions. It's Buddhist, Jain, and all. So particularly they have asked the worshipping god, not the religion. Generally they ask the religion, like devoted to which particular religion. So Elephanta caves was worshipping god. Like who was the worshipping god in Elephanta caves? There was Lord Shiva. Okay, so worshipping god of elephant caves are Lord Shiva. Then we have a question in architects and works topic. We have who is the architect of Thrissur house? So as I said earlier, sometimes they ask unimportant, not so familiar architects and buildings. So Thrissur house is not a very famous building, which it comes under Art Nouveau style. And when you learn about Art Nouveau in detail, you can see some examples of Art Nouveau buildings. So there comes this Thrissur house, and they have asked the architect of Thrissur house. So the answer is Victor Horta. Victor Horta is the architect who designed Thrissur house. Okay. Then we have who designed, not built, who designed Hiroshima Memorial. That was like a medium easy question because few of are familiar with that particular architect. He's not that unimportant. Is a medium important architect when we range them in like important, unimportant. So he's a medium important architect. Who is that architect? Can you guys comment? The architect of Hiroshima Memorial. Who is the architect of Hiroshima Memorial? Did you guys answer this question? Was it tough for you? Okay, it is Kenzo Tange. It is Kenzo Tange who designed Hiroshima Memorial building. Okay. Then we had a question related to books, films, and documentaries. So generally, they ask for JEE, they ask questions related to films, books, and documentaries related to architects. Like the books are written by architects and books are written about architects, and some documentaries about architects, and some films architects director or made, or some films about architects like Doshi. There's a film called Doshi, like about architect B.Des Doshi, a Thrissur Prize winner. So the question was, who is the author of Towards an Architecture? It's a famous architect. Can you all comment the answer in the comment session, like the live chat? Did you guys find these answers? Like probably you might have searched in Google, like, and just after, and then to your home, just after leaving the exam hall, you might have searched for the answers in Google. So probably you might have found who that is, the author of Towards an Architecture. Okay, it is Le Corbusier. It is Le Corbusier is a famous architect. Is a Swiss French architect, Le Corbusier, and he has designed a lot of buildings in India as well. You know, like the first properly planned city of independent India, like Chandigarh. We have Chandigarh Assembly Hall, like all these famous buildings. We had High Court of Chandigarh. The old city is constructed. It's designed by Le Corbusier in brutalist style. So we have a lot of works by Le Corbusier. He's a famous architect. Unfortunately, he didn't get Pritzker, but still he is one of the major architects in the world. Like he has designed Notre Dame de Haute Chapel. Then we have Villa Savoy, like one of the best examples of modernism. Like Villa Savoy is designed by Le Corbusier. So it's a book. It's written by Le Corbusier, Towards an Architecture. Okay. So then we have some more questions here. Surface of a wall should be dash before plastering. So this was a bit confusing questions, and there were options like polished, cemented. So how a wall should be like before plastering? Should it be polished? Should it be smooth? I'm just asking, like if a wall is too much polished and smooth, what if you apply plaster on that particular smooth surface? What will happen? Just guess. That's a very practical question, like not about architecture only. Generally, like everyone should know that, like if you apply plasters or such binding materials in a polished smooth surface, what will happen? The binding won't be proper, right? And the correct answer is, yeah, someone has commented it's rough. The walls should be rough, before plastering. Then only you can easily bind. You can easily bind this binding material, the plastering material, into the wall. Okay, for example, if we have like we are using laterite stones and all for construction, that is one of the best materials that we have in Kerala for construction, because plastering is easy because you don't have to apply a lot of materials, like you don't have to take a lot of effort to roughen the surface and all, because it's porous already. So lateral stones are porous, so you can easily plaster. So the plastering like will easily stick into the wall because there is pores. So generally, walls should be rough before plastering. Okay. The next question: which one is a shell structure? I think photos were given of some unfamiliar buildings. I think, and there was one familiar building like that you all might know, and that was the answer. Can you guys comment if you remember which one was the answer? A shell structure. You know what is a shell structure? Like we have already discussed it. Like when we discussed about Lotus Temple. Lotus Temple is a shell structure. Sydney Opera House is kind of a shell structure. What is a shell structure? Shell structure is like a shell, basically. And there won't be a differentiation like a wall. There won't be like a separation like wall, roof, floor, and all. Like it's a shell-like structure, like complete shell-like structure. So even if you don't know the particular buildings that have given in the options, you can still answer the question. Like just looking into the picture, you can identify which one is a shell structure. And the answer was the Millennium Tomb, which is a famous structure, which is comes under shell structure category. So that was a medium easy question. Like even if you don't like many questions, even if you don't exact building or exact thing, you can just guess and answer. Okay. So then we have question like which of following is not a type of city? Okay, this question is not exactly like this. These are questions that we have collected from students. Okay, so there may be some changes in this, like some words and all, but this is a basic question. Which of the following is not a type of city? So we have stack city, radiant city, linear city, garden city. Did you all search for the answer? Which one is? This one was a bit tough, I think. Like I have asked about this question like to many of my students, and they were like, no idea, and they were confused, and most of them didn't answer this particular question. So, radiant city is a city type introduced by architect Le Corbusier, and you all know that about linear city, garden city. So probably the answer is stack city. Okay, in my view, the answer might be stack city. Okay, we'll wait for the answer key, but still. The answer is stack. Just consider it as stack city, which is not coming under a type of city or city planning. Like we have radiant city, we have linear city, we have garden city. So let it be stack city. Okay, this question was interesting. Who built Motim Masjid in New Delhi, Red Fort complex? And probably all of you might have attended this question and made it wrong. Am I correct? Did you all check the answer? I think most of you have attended this question. Which is the answer? Is it Akbar? Is it Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb, or Humayun? Okay, Arundhati has commented Shah Jahan. Is there any other answers? Who designed, not designed, who built, who commissioned? The emperor who commissioned Motim Masjid in New Delhi Red Fort complex. Only Arundhati have commented Shah Jahan. Is there any other answers? Is it Akbar? Okay, there is a bit confusion. It is not Shah Jahan actually. It's neither Shah Jahan nor Akbar. Okay, so I'll tell you, these are the two Motim masjids that we have. This is the Motim Masjid in Agra Fort, and this is the Motim Masjid that we have in Red Fort. Okay, and Agra Fort is commissioned by Emperor Akbar. Okay, Red Fort is commissioned by Emperor Shah Jahan. You all know, like last year there was a question like who commissioned Red Fort. Last year, 23, we had a question like who commissioned Red Fort. So the answer was Shah Jahan. And since Motim Masjid is in Red Fort, like you all have just guessed that probably that might be Shah Jahan, but it's not Shah Jahan actually. It's Aurangzeb. Okay, So I'll explain. In Agra fort, the fort was built by Akbar and the Moti Masjid was built by Shah Jahan. Okay. And then Red Fort was built by Shah Jahan, but the Moti Masjid in Red Fort was built by Aurangzeb. So the answer is Aurangzeb. So I heard a lot of students have made it wrong. Like they have attended Akbar or Shah Jahan, after Akbar or Shah Jahan. So the answer is Aurangzeb. It's Aurangzeb. Okay. So there is a bit confusion. So this time most of the questions were confusing. Like generally we have either an easy question or a tough question. Like it's either easy or tough. But this time it all were confusing questions. Like if you have studied, you just end up guessing an answer, and that will go wrong. That's the problem. Like if it's confusing, like some basic things about like Red Fort is commissioned by Shah Jahan, but you'll guess it's Shah Jahan. So this time we had many such kind of questions, confusing questions. Like it's neither tough nor easy. It was confusing this year. So students have attended most of these questions and then got negative marks probably. So that was the case of this year's ARC awareness questions. Okay. So we have some more questions. Who built Shalimar Garden in Srinagar? Like it's a Mughal emperor who built Shalimar Garden. Who is it? That was an easy question. Who built Shalimar Garden? So you have studied about many more Mughal gardens, Chinese gardens, Japanese gardens, and all, right? So we had many Mughal gardens in India built by Mughal emperors. So who built Shalimar Garden in Srinagar? Srinagar is in Jammu. Yes, it's Jahangir. It's Jahangir who built Shalimar Garden. Okay, so it's correct. So many students have commented it's Jahangir is correct only Jahangir. Then this one was very easy question. The question was easy, but these options were not. Because you all might have studied LEED, like because it's a common question that was asked for all previous year question papers. Like you can say like IGBC, Griha, LEED, all these abbreviations are like commonly asked questions. So you might have studied the full form of LEED, leadership in something, some energy is there, some environment is there, some design is there. But look at the options, like it's all confusing. Leadership in energy and environmental design, leadership in environmental and energy design, leadership in environmental energy design, the leadership in energy environmental design. It all look the same. So which one is correct? Which one is the exact full form of LEED? Which one is correct? Option A, B, C, or D? Just comment. Which one is the correct full form of LEED? Is it C? Actually, it's A. It's leadership in energy and environmental design. Okay. So when you learn abbreviations and its full forms, learn like specifically like exactly what the word is. Okay. Like even the like here is leadership in energy and environmental design. So generally you just learn the keywords. Okay, leadership, energy, environmental design. So you will think, okay, you can easily identify the answer. And all these abbreviations, like it's all confusing. All these full forms, it's confusing. So like when you learn such abbreviations, learn properly. Okay. So for example, for UNESCO, sometimes they put scientific for S, sometimes science. Okay. So we'll think. And for BREEAM, building research, environmental establishment, methodology, something like that. And for that, for the M, they have given methodology, methods, method, like, so you'll get confused. So when you learn properly, okay, what is the full form that particular abbreviation? Because I'm telling this because like you find it very easy. It was an easy question, but still like look at the options. So you guys learn properly. Okay. Do you guys remember this picture? Do you guys remember this picture? It was a confusing question. And you can easily cancel two options. You were asked to identify this particular garden, right? Identify the type of garden. Is it Japanese or Chinese? Is it Japanese or Chinese? Like you might have searched in Google, like, is it Chinese, Japanese? What kind of a garden is it? Just comment. Okay, I'll tell you. Just comment in the chat box. We'll go to the next question. Okay, so you guys comment which garden is this? Is it Japanese or Chinese? Okay, architect of Hiroshima Memorial Building, it's Kenzo Tange. Then World Environment Day started here. Generally, they ask which is, yes, it is Chinese. It is a Chinese garden. Okay, World Environment Day started here. So generally they ask when is World Environment Day, World Architecture Day, when is like some important days internationally celebrated or national importance. Okay, but this time they have asked World International Day started in which year? Okay, so answer was 1973, right? It was 1973. How many of you got it correct? 1973, probably by guessing, or have you all studied like the starting years and all? Okay. Okay, someone has commented me. Was it a guess or you knew the year was 1973? Okay. Then we have one more question. Kanpur is known as. Okay, very good. Kanpur is known as like there were some nicknames. So last year also there were one question that was match the following for nicknames of cities. Then the names of cities like Steel City, then Blue City. We have some cities and nicknames. In India, we have a lot of cities which has nicknames. We have Steel City like Jamshedpur. We have City of Festivals, Madurai. We have Spice Garden of India, that is Kerala. Spice Capital of India, that is Calicut. Then we have City of Lakes, Udaipur and Bhopal. Both the cities are considered as City of Lakes. Then we have Pink City, Jaipur, Diamond City, Surat. We have Milk City, Anand. We have different kind of cities like nicknames. So this question I remember last class, just before the exam. In last class we have discussed this particular city and its nickname. So that was there for the exam. Kanpur is known as City of. Is it orange or leather? Orange City is Nagpur, I think. It's Nagpur. Kanpur is known as Leather City. It's a leather city. Kanpur is known as Leather City. Okay. So that was answer. It's Leather City. And let's see, we have one more. One. We have a few more questions. Okay. Which type of tile is suitable for? Okay. Before getting into that point, you can expect such questions for next exam as well. Okay. Nicknames of cities. So just learn like cities and its nickname. Don't get confused. We have a big list of cities and nicknames. Okay. So which type of tile is suitable for air-conditioned rooms, gymnasiums, and skating rinks? So what was, okay, if you are commenting Taj Hotel, yes, this is Taj Hotel. This was a picture given to identify this picture. Yes, this is Taj Hotel. Okay, I think like you all might know that which building is it. It's a famous building, right? So okay, we'll discuss this. Okay, which type of tile is suitable for air-conditioned rooms, gymnasiums, and skating rinks? We have options: wood tiles, cork tiles, ceramic tiles, and concrete tiles. What's the answer? What is the answer? Is cork, ceramic. Is it ceramic? Just imagine a ceramic tile floor in a gymnasium. What will happen? So as I said earlier, like even if you don't know the answer, like if you have not studied this particular portion, you can still guess the answer from the options. Just imagine the context: air-conditioned rooms. Then we have gymnasiums. Just look at the word gymnasium. So is it possible to have ceramic tiles in gymnasiums? No, they are highly vulnerable to cracks and all, right? So you'll have injuries and all. And concrete tiles is also not that perfect for gymnasiums. Is it wood or cork? I'm not telling you the answer. Just comment. Okay, just comment in the live chat box. Just let others know which one is the answer. We have two options. I'll give two options: wood or cork. Just comment in the live chat box. Okay, I'm not telling you the answer. Okay. Then we have. Okay, this was an interesting question. As an architect, like this was an interesting question for me. I think I rate this as an easy question in my perspective, but I don't know how much architecture aspirants are aware of this particular area, like softwares and other things. If you have completed diploma or any courses related to architecture, you might have knew this one. Which one is the answer? Which one is not a software used by architects? Okay, we had 4 options. As I remember, 3ds Max, SketchUp, Revit, and StatPro. Which one is a software not used by architects? We have 3ds Max, SketchUp, Revit, and StatPro. Can anyone comment in the chat box? I think you all know which common softwares used by architects. Basic softwares, you all know AutoCAD, right? AutoCAD is a software used for basic plans, elevations, detailed drawings like structural drawings, plumbing drawings, electrical diagrams, plans, elevations, sections, and site plans, all other 2D drawings. So we use AutoCAD to generate 2D drawings. And we have some 3D modeling softwares, SketchUp, 3ds Max, and then we have some other softwares as well. Like we have rendering software Lumion, we have Grasshopper, we have Rhino, and we have like many different softwares used by architects. So the answer was StatPro, because 3ds Max, Revit, and SketchUps are softwares used by architects, and StatPro is specifically for structural engineering. So it is used by structural engineers. It's in detail, like for the loads, for the beam, the structural components and all. So that is used by structural engineers. Okay, so the answer is StatPro. 3ds Max is a common software in architecture, also SketchUp and Revit. So that was a medium tough question. Okay, because you might have not that familiar with this type of softwares and all. Then we had like the most easy question, components of concrete. I think you all know, like we have cement, fine aggregates, coarse aggregate, and all like. So that was an easy question. Escalator looks like that. That was easy question too. Like it was asked earlier. An escalator looks like what? Lift. That was very basic question. An escalator looks like a staircase, right? That was an easy question. And we have already discussed about this one. It is Taj Hotel in Mumbai. Okay. So let's check if there is any other questions that we have collected. Yes, we have a few more questions. Okay, then we had match the following questions. We had to match architects and their works. Then we had to match buildings or monuments and its locations. Okay. So match the following was medium, easy for students, and few said it was a little more confusing. And sorry. And there were some monuments that are not so familiar. There were some architects who are not that famous. So that was a little more confusing. But somehow most of students have attended those questions by guessing, or like there might be some options that you are familiar with, right? So in all JEE exams, they ask questions related to architects, their works, and buildings and locations. Like in match the following, like you have to either match pictures of monuments, then it's architect, or pictures of famous buildings and its architect, pictures of monuments with its locations. Generally we have match the following of architects and its work, their works, architects and their works. Then when we check into the previous question papers, when we go to check previous question papers, you can find match the following questions for styles and buildings, like few buildings and their its style and buildings, and architects and their prominent style. So you can expect a match the following question from all the topics, like all topics related to architects, their works, monuments, locations, its materials, style. Like you can expect any kind of questions. And then we have statement questions. We had a statement question related to stone masonry, right? Do you guys remember? We had statement questions. 2 statements were given related to stone masonry, ashlar masonry, random rubble masonry. And they have said in the second statement, random rubble masonry is a kind of masonry in which like we use a proper shaped stones, like in proper alignment and all. Is it correct? Is that statement correct? random rubble masonry is a kind of masonry that use properly shaped stones like in proper alignment and all. Is that correct? No, it's not correct, right? Then what is that kind of masonry called? If the stone is properly, cubical, shaped, aligned, what that kind of masonry is called? Do you know? Do you know? Like the shaped stones. If you use the shaped stones, like the cubical stones, that is ashlar masonry. And in ashlar masonry, you have coast and uncoast. Course means layers, right? Like first course of brick, second course of brick. So if you are arranging it properly in layers, that is coarse masonry. And then you have uncoarse ashlar masonry. So ashlar is properly shaped stones. So if you are using the stones or the rubbles as it is, that is rubble masonry. In that you have dry rubble masonry, like you have random rubble masonry, where like that is the general type of masonry that we use here, like for the construction of Kerala generally. We use random rubble masonry, like we'll be placing the stones that we are getting like according to their size and all. So that is random rubble masonry. Okay. Yes. So then you have to identify the monument Pantheon, which was very easy question. Like you all know which is Parthenon, which is Pantheon. And can you tell me where is Pantheon located? Where is Pantheon located? Where is Pantheon located? The country. I'm asking for the country, not the particular place. Can someone answer? Where is the building, the famous monument, the famous ancient Rome building located? Yes, it's in Rome, obviously, and Italy. Pantheon is in Italy. Okay, then you have to identify a massive chariot supported by a stone wheel. Okay, that was a temple where you can find massive chariot with stone wheels and all. So you have probably studied that one, right? Like which temple has that huge stone wheel for a massive chariot? Which is that? Which is that temple? It is a Sun Temple in Konark in state of Odisha. Okay, that is a Sun Temple. And then which city is planned by Edwy Lutins? This one actually, even if you have not studied about cities planning or the architects who plan cities, you can still answer this question. You can guess. Which city is planned by Edwy Lutins? I think you all know the answer. Just guess. Which city is planned by Edwy Lutins? Which city is planned by Edwy Lutins? Can you all guess? Edwy Lutins is a famous architect, British architect who designed our parliament, not the current one. The current parliament is designed by architect Bimal Patel, who's son of Hasmukh Patel, right? And the old parliament, the parliament that we had, which is in a circular plan. So that one was designed by Edwy Lutins. That is in Delhi, right? And India Gate is designed by Edwy Lutins. Parliament is not just Edwy Lutins. There are two architects who designed Indian Parliament House. They are Edwy Lutins and Herbert Baker. Also, they have designed our Rashtrapati Bhavan. Rashtrapati Bhavan is designed by the same set of architects, Edwy Lutins and Herbert Baker. Both are British architects. Okay, and Delhi has a nickname which is Lutin City, because most of the buildings in Delhi was designed by Lutins and some planning as well, city planning as well. Yes, Edwy Lutins is not the major architect who planned the entire city, but still Delhi is designed by, Delhi is known as Lutin's city. So the answer is Delhi, not Mumbai. Some Mumbai or some Kolkata or other options were there. The answer is Delhi. So you can just guess the answer. It is Delhi. Okay. So that's it. So these are the questions that we have collected in architecture awareness. These are the questions that we have collected from students. So there are some more questions that we have not discussed, and there might be some more detailed part for the questions and etc. So so that's about architecture. So in general, I think architecture was comparatively confusing. That is the term that I am like to use. It is confusing. It's not easy. It was not easy. It was not hard neither. It was not easy. It was not hard. It was not tough. It was confusing. Like in my opinion, architecture awareness was confusing. You'll use your time. You'll waste your time by looking into these questions, options, like, okay, which is the answer? Okay, this can be the answer. This can be the answer. Like, because you know, like, little things about this question. Maybe some words, you know, little things about the options, the terms that you are familiar with. So you will end up in answering questions, and then it may go wrong. Okay, so generally arc awareness was a little harder compared to previous year question paper. Previous year question paper was easy compared to this particular set of questions. So let's see how it will come out. Then we have to wait for the final answer key to get exact answers and the questions. The question paper is not out yet. These are the questions that we have collected from our students. Okay. And then we had non-verbal reasoning questions. This time we had a very few questions for non-verbal reasoning, like a very few questions. We had mirror image questions, projections, figure series. So year by year, we are
Fibin sir,
reducing the number of.
excuse me, just before we move on to the non-verbal and drawing part, there were some questions which were being asked. So first is, when will be the answer key released? So it'll take some time. Usually what happens is that they will open up the portal, they will give the answer keys. They will also give the option of raising a question or a query if you are not satisfied with the answers. So it'll hopefully be happening in the next few weeks. I think that's one of the questions that had been asked. The other is regarding the JEE and NATA batches that we are beginning in the month of February. So for the April session of JEE B.Arch, we have new batches starting from February and also in March. And as you're all are already aware, I guess the NATA has changed its pattern and all. So we have come up, we have a community that's already running in WhatsApp. So we would be putting in some questions and educational content and the PPT of this particular live also. Most of the lives, whatever PPT we have, we'll be putting it up in the WhatsApp community. So the link has also been shared in the live chat box. Fibin sir, I think you can continue to the next session. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so we were discussing about non-verbal. Okay. Non-verbal reasoning. We had a very few questions from this particular topic. Like year by year, they reduced number of questions asked in this area, non-verbal reasoning. And also for projections, most of the questions were similar. Like the figure was same. Like they asked questions to identify the exact side view, top view, or 3D views of the same figure. Okay, so that was kind of new, not completely new. Like last year also they have asked such questions, but still like most of the questions was from the same figure. And also we have some 4 or 5 mirror image questions, and that's it. And we had one question from the figure series, and we had a very few set of questions in non-verbal. Like there was no questions from surface counting, which is students are not so happy with, because like they expected at least 4 or 5 questions from surface counting. They have practiced a lot for surface counting and all, but this time they haven't asked any questions from surface counting. But that won't be the case for the next exam. You can expect all other topics as well. Don't think, okay, so this is the pattern, so next for the next exam also, like there'll be only questions from these 2 topics. It's not like that. You have to practice all other topics. You can expect questions from folding, unfolding, other topics in non-verbal reasoning. So comparatively, non-verbal reasoning was easy for all students. It was very easy, not just easy, it was very easy. Generally, JEE NTA they ask very basic questions for non-verbal reasoning in JEE B.Arch exam compared to other competitive exams like NATA, NIFT, CEED, and NIFT. Okay, and then we had 2 questions from arithmetic reasoning part. We had a question in number series. We have to fill the blank: 10, 30, 68, 130, and some number is here, then 350. Did you all attend this question? Would you answer this one? Was it tough? Was it confusing? Did it take time to answer this one? I think many students text me just asking this particular question. So what is the number? Like we tried a lot, we tried different methods, and how do we solve it? It's not that easy. So can anyone tell me the answer? Like, did you get the answer? It's easy actually. When I tell you a solution, that's easy. That's an easy question that we have. Can anyone tell me the answer? Did anyone answer this one? Yes, it's 222. It's 222. I'll tell you how. It's easy actually. Like, so for such questions, you have to look into those numbers. Like you can see 10, 30, 68, 130. Something is here is missing. Then 350. So for number series, like I have already discussed that in class. For number series, you have to by heart square numbers and cube numbers. So you can easily answer questions. So looking into the series, you can find that these numbers are near to the cube numbers. Like we have 8, 2 cube is 8, we have 3 cube 27, that is near to 30. Then we have 4 cube 64, then we have 5 cube 125. So what's the solution? It's very easy actually. It's 2 cube plus 2 10, then 3 cube plus 3 30, 4 cube plus 4 68, 64 plus 4 68, then 5 cube plus 5 125 plus 5 130. So next we have 6 cube plus 6. So 6 cube is 216. Then we have to add 6 to that, so we'll get 222. And then we have 7 cube is 343, right? So if you add 7 to 343, you will get 350. That's it. 2 cube plus 2, 3 cube plus 3, 4 cube plus 4, 5 cube plus 5, then 6 cube plus 6, that is 222. Okay, so that was an easy one actually. Yeah. Then we had an interesting question. If at 11:15 our hand points towards northeast, and where is minute hand pointing? So to answer this question, you can just imagine all this clock setup in your mind, or you can just draw. Like you'll be given papers for rough work, right? So you can just draw a circle and mark the time 11:15. So at 11:15 our hand will be in between 11 and 12. Okay, and like it's 11:15, and the minute hand will be pointing towards the 3 number, right? So it will create an angle around it's more than at 90 and like less than 120, right? So you can mark our hand side as northeast. That is northeast. So then you can find other directions, like in clockwise of northeast, that will be east, and in anti-clockwise of northeast, there comes north. So then you can easily mark where is north coming, where is south coming, where is east, and where is west. And the answer is southeast. I think our hand points towards southwest. Okay, so is it northwest? Okay, few students are commenting the question. It is northwest. However, the solution is same. You have to draw the our hand and minute hand. Then you have to mark the our hand direction there, and then you can easily find where is south, where is north, and where is west and all. Okay, that was an easy question from direction sense. That was easy. Yes. Okay. Fine. So then we moving to our favorite topic, our major strong point, drawing, which was easy this year. Okay, when I asked reviews from our students, drawing was kind of easy for most of them. Okay, and they could complete it. It was easy and it was familiar. The type of pattern, it was not a new pattern. Like all these type of questions were familiar. They have already discussed, they have already practiced such questions, so that was easy for them. Okay, so okay, so first question is, draw a proportionate sketch of the given image and render it using any black and white rendering method. Question won't be exactly the same because these are the questions that we have collected from students. Question paper is yet out. Okay, so the question summary is, you are given a picture. So this time we had a rickshawala, right? A man with a rickshaw. So that was kind of easier compared to the proportionate questions that we had for our model exams and like the questions that we had last year. It was easier. Like you have to just proportionately draw a picture and then render it. That's it. So when it comes to evaluation criteria, you can expect them to focus more on the proportion. That is what is important. Proportion is it's very important. Then comes the rendering. So you have to draw it proportionately, the head body proportion, the proportion of that particular person to the rickshaw. Okay, that is important, and that should be exactly the same proportion. And also when you render, you have to render in in too many like detailing and all. Like you don't have to go into too much detailing. You can just render basically like the rendering that they have done in the question. You just have to render it in that way. Okay, not the exact same way. You can use your own rendering techniques, but still like the values should be same. That will be evaluated, the values, like the where is it's darker, where is it's lighter, and the rendering values and all. Okay, so for such questions, like last year we had uh, students were asked to render a lady for the first session, and the second session it was a building, Qutub Minar, right? So this time again they have come up with a human figure and a vehicle. Okay, like it's a combination of two elements. Okay, so even for the next exam, if you can expect a question from rendering, because for last 2-3 years we had questions from rendering. It will be either a human figure or any other element. Okay, so you can expect human figure, like 90% chances for human figures. Then we have other elements like you'll be asked to draw a building, like the picture of a building will be given. Then you'll be asked to draw proportionately and render it appropriately. Okay, then you have vehicles or other built elements or other elements to draw. Okay, so that was kind of easier for students because it's just to draw it proportionately. Okay, and that looks easier. When it comes to evaluation, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to get score scored in such questions because proportion matters. Okay. Then we had OR questions. For the second question, we had two choices, right? So using musical instruments like guitar, drums, violin, keyboard, etc., make an abstract 3D sculpture. Use different colors and different texture. Show the effects of light and shadow. Okay. So question is not exactly the same, but still this is the summary of the question. Okay. So okay, is coloring allowed for football question? Yes, I'll tell you this one. Okay, I'll discuss it. Let me complete this one. Okay, so for this question, it is a 3D composition. And like Hansh, our student discussed earlier, last year he made a mistake. It was to design a sculpture, and he just composed those shapes, like in just spread it around and just just a basic composition. Okay, it was not like a sculpture. So as Sir said, each word matters. Okay, if you skip a single word, that will affect your marks. So it was a sculpture, not just a basic 3D composition. A sculpture is generally a vertical composition. Generally, you compose it vertically to make a sculpture. You can just spread it around and just call it a sculpture. Like it should be like properly aligned. It should be like aligned. That means not in the same line. It should be properly arranged, properly like stick together, properly composed. Okay, so that should look like a sculpture, not just a basic 3D composition. A sculpture is a different composition, right? Like we have discussed all these things. Like we have different types of composition. We have abstract composition. We have sculptures. So here they have asked an abstract 3D sculpture. So it should be a sculpture, and also it should be abstract. Abstract means a random composition. That's it. Not like proper alignment and all. You can just make an abstract composition. Like you can arrange it in any way that you want. Okay. Then you have to use colors. You have to render it properly. There'll be marks for coloring, your neatness of coloring, then effects of light and shadow, proper where is the shadow coming, like where is it going, like where is the light source. You have to render it accordingly. Like you have to consider the light source, then render. You have to consider where the light is from. Then you have to show proper lighting and shadow. Then you have to split it up into shadow core, then half tone, middle tone, and all. So you have to render accordingly. When you color, you can't just shade it. You can't just color it the way you want just for the sake of an aesthetics. You have to consider the light and shadow. Like when you render, the dark side goes the direction where the light is not hitting, and also the cast shadow should be logical, not proper. You don't have to construct shadows like it's not that easy to construct shadows of such abstract shapes, such a guitar and all those things. It's not that easy to construct shadows. So it should be logical. It should be a basic logic should be there. That's it. You don't have to go in detail about these technical side of shadows, light and shadow and all. Okay. And then a few students asked doubts regarding the type of instruments that we can use. So the question is musical instruments like guitar, drums, violin, and keyboard. So you don't have to strictly use these instruments mentioned. Even you can skip drums. Instruments like guitar, violin, keyboard, etc. So if it's strictly guitar, drums, violin, keyboard, you have to use all these instruments. So they have just given some examples. So you can skip one or two of these instruments. Also, you can add more instruments if you want. You can use flute, you can use any other you can use violin, you can use any other musical instruments, like any kind of musical instruments. There is no limit, there is no number limit, there is no count for that. You just have to use musical instruments, such kind of instruments. These are examples, not exactly the question. Okay, so that's about 3D composition. I think that's clear. So when it comes to evaluation, the composition skills comes in front. The type of composition that you have given, your composition skill, then your coloring skill, your neatness of coloring, light and shadow, etc. Okay. Oh, there's a question. Sir, is it just a composition, right? What did they mean by sculpture, sir? Okay, sculpture is different actually. So last year also, it was to design a sculpture using basic shapes found in sports equipments. You have to identify which are the basic shapes found in sports equipments like spheres, cuboids, cylinders, cones, etc. You have to compose it in a way it should look like a sculpture. Sculpture is generally a vertical arrangement. So if you ever visited Calicut, you can see different sculptures in Calicut city, in beaches, in Mananjara ground and all. So sculptures are not statues. Statues are different. Sculptures are generally abstract. Statues are the exact form of that particular person, like maybe a sculpture of a person, a human being. So statue is exactly the same. Like it should look like that person. Sculpture is abstract and also a vertical arrangement. So you have to arrange it vertically to get a good feeling of a sculpture. So that's the difference between a normal 3D composition and a sculpture. So if you're asked to compose just a 3D composition, then you have to just spread it. You can just spread it like you want. You can just keep it away. One piece you can keep it away. One piece you can keep it aside. One up top of another. So you can compose it in any way that you want. But when it comes to sculptures, it's generally vertical. You have to keep one element, one object on another. Not necessarily, but there should be some kind of vertical arrangements. Then only you can call it as a sculpture. And also you have to just keep it together. That's a single sculpture, right? So you have to keep it together to make it a sculpture. That's the difference between 3D composition and a particular sculpture. So I think that's different. I think that's clear for you all. The difference between these two. And don't worry if you have arranged it in a horizontal way or a linear way or any other kind of compositions, you can still score marks. If you have presented it in a right way, if you have presented it in a neat way, you have colored it very well, your composition is if your composition is good, you'll get good marks. Okay, but that will affect the chance of getting the maximum marks. That's it. Okay, so don't worry about that part. Then we have the other question that is okay. Then we have the other question that is the same drawing question. Imagine yourself at a football stadium watching ongoing football match, make a beautiful scene. So that's clear. The point of view is clear. The context is clear. The context is a football match, a stadium and a football match. That's the context. Context means where is the thing happening, where is the scene happening. So the context is a football stadium. So that is where it is happening. So you are not playing. So we had a similar kind of question for our model exam. That was you are playing. You are one among the football players. Those are playing. Then you have to draw a scene, like in your point of view. And this one a bit different, but you can use all the techniques that you have learned for that particular question, like the poses, the gestures, and all. So here the point of view is you are watching the entire scene, okay, like among the audience, okay. So that should be in that particular point of view, and we have to show the match, the players, football players, other background, the stadium. You can use other elements as well. You can show other buildings like behind the stadium. You can use natural elements like, so you can use natural elements like trees, like other kind of elements like behind as a background. Okay, you just have to make the scene aesthetic, proper composition of elements. So when it comes to evaluation, generally in scene drawings, proportion matters, scale and proportion. Then compare all your elements. Elements in the sense you have built elements, you have vehicles, you have natural elements like plants, etc. You have buildings, then you have animals, birds, human beings. So the scale of all these elements, like for example, like if you're drawing a scene drawing, if you're placing a person near a building, that scale should be like that should be proportional. You can like draw a person who is as tall as a a building, as tall as a building. That's not possible. There is a proper scale and all. Like you have, there's a particular height for a person, there is a height for a building, there is a kind of proportion for all these elements. So that matters in scene drawing. Okay, proportion and scale should be proper, and also composition of elements, how we are placing, like which all elements are placing in the background, which all elements are placing in the foreground. Then line weight matters, like you have to use different line weights to show depth and all. Okay, and this was to color, right? This particular question was to color, so you have to color it properly, and then you can expect such questions for next exam as well, like scene drawing questions. Generally we have four categories of questions, like we have scene drawing, we have 3D composition, we have a rendering question. So this time we had three questions, a proportionate sketching and rendering, we had 3D composition kind of question, we had a scene drawing. So you can expect a question in from the 2D composition for the next session, probably. Because last year we had 2D composition and a rendering question for the first session. And for the second session, we have 3D composition and a rendering. So for the second session, I predict one question can be a 2D composition, and other one obviously a rendering. Like maybe there can be there'll be a change, but still I predict as it is. Okay, and then you can expect our questions, like because last year we never had our questions, like we have two fixed questions, you have to answer both. Okay, so next time you can expect our questions as this pattern offers an our question. Okay, so that's about drawing. So I think it's clear about the drawing part. So each questions carry 50 marks each, so both questions are important. Okay, so take all these tips for the next exam. Keep in mind all the mistakes that you made. Okay, so in the first, okay, we have a question, doubt from a student. So in the first question, I didn't use the whole paper. My sketch was a bit small, but I didn't render and shading. But I did all rendering and shading. Will it still be valid? It can be valid. All your questions, all your answers can be evaluated. Like if it's small, if it's large, like if it's in any size. Okay, but the marks will vary. Okay, like the way you arrange it, the way you aligned it, the way you compose your answer in that particular given space. So it shouldn't be like too small, it shouldn't be too much larger. That particular balance should be there, like the white space, the positive space and negative space. So when you align a particular drawing, when you align your drawing in a given space, that spacing, that balance should be proper. Like you have to give proper size for the drawing. So next time, just keep in mind that you have to draw it accordingly, like in a medium size. Okay, don't make it too big, don't make it too small, or don't keep it in a corner or anywhere. Just keep it in the center and draw properly. Okay, you can still score good marks. Don't worry about that particular part. Okay, so that's it about our questions. So
Okay.
thank you, students. So
Okay,
sir,
so thank you, sir. I think that was a very well detailed analysis of the entire question paper. So I hope everyone has a lot to take back for their JEE BR April session. So before the April session comes up, I think you all will be fine-tuned and okay. So if you want the PPT of this particular session that we have just done, we will be sharing it in our WhatsApp community. The link for the WhatsApp community has been shared in the live chat box, and it will also be given in the comment section. Okay. And as far as our new batches are concerned, we have JEE-BArch batches from February 2nd, and NATA new pattern batches, including drawing, will be starting from March 20th and March 25th. Okay. So any further questions, queries, and all you have, you can post it in the WhatsApp community or below this particular video. Thanks a lot to everyone who has joined, to both our champion students, Hansh and Archana, who has joined, and also to Febin sir for this lovely session. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, host. Until we see you in the next session, thank you to all the participants.